Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It's the 2020 show. We've been trying to stay on Tuesday nights. Got a great show tonight. I'm really excited about my guest. I've got a personal interest in this one. Really happy that we've got Griffin McCloy on tonight. He's going to tell his part of the story. That's part of the 2020 show, is to tell the story. So stay with us. You're in store for a good one, I'm sure of it. Griffin McCloy.
Hello.
Hey, this is great. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So I prepped you a while back when we started doing the show to say, hey, at some point we're going to have you on, because you're definitely you bring a whole different perspective to really the whole story about Jamaica and Mission of Sight and professional eye care and everything else. I mean, you've been in it probably longer than anybody else in the family, next to Mom and I.
Yeah.
And you know why?
In a while.
and why is it that you would be the one who's been in it the longest?
Because I'm the oldest.
There you go. So your elder statesman aspect helps you to. You're the first of the McCloy kids to get into the book or get into the story. I mean, I think one thing I like to let everybody know is that, the kind of the impetus for doing the 2020 show is to really try to video chronicle really the history and the past and the present and the future of what we've done in Jamaica. You've obviously been a huge part of that. So it's just good to have you into the mix tonight. So I always like to ask everybody too to share this out. Like, I know you being a college guy, you're really not, Facebook's not really your thing, is it?
Not really.
But there's a lot of us that are. There's a lot of us that are out there at Facebooks, and so like Dorothy, like Doro is there. She's always been on this. She's always watching the show. She's always good with us. I'm gonna throw some of your past up here. Yvonne Watts from FLC, Trent Fannin, they're all there. So all of us people, all this old people, not that Kathy Tony's old, but we're bigly Facebooks. So, and then obviously, I don't know if she's on there yet now or not, but Grant, aka Grammy, really one of your biggest fans, actually, Griffin. Wouldn't you say?
I would agree with that.
Look at all these people on here. Jolene, my golly. You got all kinds of people. Terry Dennis. Lord. There's your mom. Even your mom, of course.
Oh, man. She might love me a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, and Jade Wooten, she's on there too. She's back from the old High Point days. So everybody that's on, if you would do us a favor and share this, because Griffin can't share it because he doesn't do Facebook, Jeremy Myers even throwing in there on us. So if you guys could go out and share, we'd really appreciate it. It helps everybody that's to kind of get this out to them, and it just helps. So Griffin, you are coming to us from Liberty University, right?
That is where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Right. And so one of the great universities in the country.
Absolutely.
No question about that. The place that you were passionate about going to. I mean, that's the place that you wanted to be.
Yep.
And we're not going to talk too much about Liberty, because I think they're getting their own level of press out there. But really glad that you're at school. It's going well there, right?
It is. It's going really well right now.
Yeah. I know they're going through all the same kind of stay in place kind of things, in a sense. Very limited access, a lot of sanitizing going on over there. Is that right?
Yes. Lots of the quarantine stuff happening.
Right. and hardly anybody's there, really, right? Don't you like
Uh,
the whole call to yourself almost?
yeah, I think there's 7 people left in my hall. So
Wow. What's your guys' time that you finish? When are you done? When do you come back home?
I think it's the first week of May.
Yeah, so not much longer.
No, it's like 3 weeks.
Well, that's kind of the end story. That's one of the beautiful things about I think for your life so far is that you're in a great place right now. You're where you want to be.
Mhm.
You're getting the education that you've always kind of hoped for. I know you won't tell everybody, but the kid is excelling. I mean, he's just rocking it down there. So we're really proud of him as his dad, but and his mom. But the point of the show tonight is not all about you and where you're at now. It's kind of more about telling the story about Jamaica, and I'm sure like Jeremy and some of the other families that have kids and have had kids down there is like for you to kind of give a little retrospect or a bit about like what was it like for you, because what I was telling you earlier, so many people see what we do now and they're always like, oh wow, it's great, and it's the surgery center and all the good things that you guys do, but nobody really feels what we went through to get to that point, like the people that were a part of, and you certainly were one of them. I can show a picture here. That's you, dude.
That is me.
You were tech from the beginning, man. You're on the
Oh yeah.
cell phone there at one of our things, but I just throw this picture up so people can see that you've been in the game from. I mean, you're actually old there.
I am old there.
You're like 3 or 4 or something. I may be 3, but I mean, you were down there from diapers. I got a picture. I couldn't find it when you were painting the the Vision Retreat Center.
Hmm.
At that age. So tell us what it was like, because some people would call you actually like a missionary kid, wouldn't they?
Yeah, some people would probably classify me as that. Yeah, I mean, all my memories of growing up, before high school, pretty much are kind of rooted in Jamaica. I mean, it's been part of my life since the very beginning. I was down there at 6 months old because of you guys. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of been my life, my whole life,
Been your life, your whole life. That's a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
So from back in those days, you probably don't remember. That early time. Like, what would you say is one of your earliest memories of Jamaica? And I want everybody to know that I've already asked you to be as candid as possible. Like be as truthful as it, because we're not trying to sugarcoat what it was like for you. Because I know as a kid, being kind of taken out of your land, so to say, your white picket fence life that it could have been, it wasn't always easy. So what's one of the first things that you can remember down there?
Oh boy. One of the first things I can remember was probably living at the retreat center in Mandeville. Was probably one of my first memories that like I can really kind of get. But yeah, I mean, and going back to what you were saying earlier, it definitely was not easy. It was rarely easy, actually.
Rarely.
We weren't living in Rose Hall, in Montego Bay our whole lives. We kind of bounced all over the place. I mean, every time we went down to Jamaica, it was a different house. I don't think we lived in the same house twice ever consecutively, or maybe once or twice consecutively in the same 2 years or whatever. So it was rarely normal or easy. The first memory I can have probably would be in the retreat center in Mandeville. Maybe when I remember climbing on the grills up there, and it was always a treat to be able to do that because y'all wouldn't let us do that because you were afraid we were going to fall and hurt ourselves.
Right.
That probably one of the first memories, or doing Sunday school over in that church that was right next to us. But,
yeah, I remember that was like me and Mom's kind of like substitute for a jungle gym for you.
Yeah,
you guys climb on the grill bars that locked us inside of the retreat center because back in those days, I mean, it wasn't unusual to think about being, broken into in our space. I mean, it actually happened. Do you have the memory of that one?
The one where we were in Rome.
Oh no, yeah, that's a different one. No. I don't know if you remembered the one from when Grammy and Debbie.
Oh, when all your stuff was stolen and you had to go down and no, I don't remember. I just know the story. That's all.
Yeah, you just know the story of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did use those grills as a treat for you guys. We got pictures of you in your makeshift swimming pool was a 5-gallon bucket down in the grill at the camp. Some of those things. So I remember that part about, and that's kind of what we talk to our missionary friends that are there now, is that like the Saxies and the Myers, is that when your kids are really young, it influences them, but you don't always remember those really early times. But the times I think when you start to really kind of catch in might be in that 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's something to 12 to 14. It starts to really be tough or different, So like,
Yeah.
that was your first memory. Let's talk about like maybe, okay. Let's talk about a good memory.
A good memory.
Yeah, just try to find a good one.
Let's start off with a good one. One of the best.
Was there anything fun about being down there when you were that age, that younger age?
Back in Mandeville times.
Sure, yeah, I think that's kind of a good spot.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember a ton from the retreat center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest. I don't associate any negative memories with it. I think we got some different colored chickens one time.
Right. Easter
chickens. That was fun.
Right.
I remember looking at all the snails that we had crawling everywhere and everything because it was always raining and then snails would come out and stuff.
Yeah.
That was fun. Max and I used to chase them and like watch them go, but so those are fun. And then I don't remember exactly when we went to what house that was. The Chin's house.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember how old I was then, but
you're probably pushing 10.
Yeah.
That's when it started to get a little more real,
Yeah. I remember having good memories there because we would go and find macadamia nuts and eat those and
right.
Run all around that mountain up there. That was fun. And then Chad the dog,
Right.
We had boomerangs and stuff up there, and
yeah, we had Chad the dog, and then we had Chet, a snoffer, come with the boomerangs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Mom's got some on there that cliff jumping at Rick's and the mission team. You guys always loved the mission teams that came in.
Yeah, I loved it when they came in because then I could impress them by jumping off the cliff because I was like 10.
Right.
But, then it got less entertaining for them as I got older and I got sad and, it was okay. One great time was when they passed around a hat for me. I got money.
Oh, true.
That was a good time.
Well, back in the day, we didn't have Mega Mart, we didn't have Progressive and all those places that are now. So like they would bring in like peanut butter and snacks. And I remember that was like our big thing that you guys used to love, that they would leave us the peanut butter or all the other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Terry Dennis is bringing one on me because this wasn't Jamaica, but when Griff shot 35 as a freshman and beat River Valley, we had like 9 putts that day or 8 or 11 or something.
Yeah, I think I hit 2 greens or something like that.
Got
that was a good time.
Got up and down on number 9 from 40 yards.
Yeah, because I like jumped off the tee. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are definitely good memories, of being up down there. And Ron Kaiser, he's a good friend of ours from so long. Yeah, they do say we look alike. A lot of people say
similar. That.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I take the glasses off and I get closer. Yeah. I think we got it.
I think so.
We definitely walk the same. We both waddle like ducks. We bounce. Yeah.
We both stand the same.
Stand the same?
Yep.
Yeah. You really are made of, we got a lot in common.
We do.
So let's get back to Jamaica. Boy, I got messages coming in all the time here. Sue Ann, Jolly, Terry, he remembers that 9 hole. I'll never forget that 9 holes, actually. That was just amazing. But
yeah, that should never have happened.
So people that they think maybe they want to go and do mission work, whatever, and they got kids, what, I mean, I've seen some of these papers that you wrote through high school and whatnot that talk about stuff, and give us some of the really challenging stuff, because yeah, it's fun when the mission teams come, but they come for like a week and they leave. It's fun to go and jump off ricks, but then you go back up to Mandeville. So give us some of the other times that were really challenging, because here's what kind of inspired me to call you tonight for this, was that I was on with our managers down in Jamaica tonight, all of our managers from Professional Eye Care, and Aretha Ferrier kind of called me out like, hey, what's going on with the show? Like, when's the next one? And I've gotten into this kind of tunnel vision here lately with all this, coronavirus stuff, just trying to make sure that we, save our jobs for our staff, that we save our company, that we do all the right things, that we sanitize our place, that we put all these processes and procedures in place. And I've gotten kind of tunneled and kind of lost track a little bit on the 2020. And part of it was having the courage to kind of come on and talk about COVID or whatever, like, what am I going to say about COVID? What am I going to do about COVID? And I don't want to talk about COVID anymore. Like, I've got more COVID than I can even manage, right? And when she said that, remember what you went and did the show for, and to do the show was about, first and foremost, to kind of chronicle our life down there. So one of the parts that I know is that it wasn't easy for you. Like, you could almost say it was like, what do you want to call it? Like, it's bad, right? I mean, like, I don't want to call it like traumatic. That's what I would say. That's the word I was looking for. It's borderline traumatic.
Yeah, there are some aspects of Jamaica that I still have to get through today, that I still have to work through, in my day-to-day stuff. I mean, I think even just coming back over spring break, I had to deal with some stuff then too. Just stuff about loneliness, and kind of how Jamaica has impacted me in that way. There are a lot of things that weren't positive about, that have helped me become the person I am today, and are helping me currently speak into the lives of other people. But I still had to go through those things myself, and it wasn't always the most fun time for me. So, yeah.
I wonder if I was just thinking, it just came to me, like, could there be a little bit of it that's like accelerated adulthood? Like, did you have to grow up faster because, and like, did you miss? I mean, I know you guys just talked about like we missed our childhood, or you missed out on things, but I wonder, is there an accelerated maturity? How about that had to come because of your life?
I'm not entirely sure, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure I have the perspective yet to say either way on that. I mean, I'm only 20, so, there's still a lot of life left for me to live.
Oh yeah.
I would venture to say that it easily could have, but I'm not entirely sure. I definitely have had to deal with some stuff that other people that I've met haven't had to deal with, but other people, and because of their upbringings, they've had to deal with it as well. So I'm not sure.
This is the one picture that I was bringing up. We kind of showed this morning. It has there's some symbolism in there. I mean, that's right about when we adopted Abby. And you wrote a paper that I remember that I just love you to highlight a little bit, like when you were in high school, that kind of talked about these trips, like because how we did it all these years, which I think should be chronicled, is that we'd be in Jamaica for like 9 months, the school year, and then we'd go back up to the States. We'd go back up to Ohio for 3 months, do the summer, and then it was like pick back up and go back down again. And that was kind of our model, was stay and go. And one thing that your mom always said is we should just pick one place and stay there. Can't we just pick one place and stay? And I never was able to do that, whether that's my fault or whether that's the wrong thing to do. I can't go back on it, but that's how we were able to pull it off. So without being like sponsored or being by something by a church or whatever. So I remember that in the one paper, you kind of talking about or writing about those trip back down or whatever. Tell us a little about that, because I know it was right around that time of that picture.
Mm-hmm. So that was taken at a, I don't know what that would be called. It wouldn't be a hotel as much as it would be a mix between an apartment and a hotel. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But it was during that time that I kind of, that's probably my first negative memory that I can associate with Jamaica, was kind of going there. And that paper that I wrote in high school, it kind of helped me to get my feelings out and get them straight for that. And I remember being on the plane that took us down for that trip that year that we spent there. And I remember it feeling like almost like a coffin of sorts, just kind of taking me away from everything and everyone that I loved and cared about. And it felt like it was pulling me away from my life that I wanted to live. And I just felt trapped and alone and scared. It just felt like everything in my life was kind of crumbling at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting on the bus afterwards, the bus that took us from the airport to the hotel, and just almost in a state of panic, just wondering what was going to happen and why I was here and what the point was of it all. And it was a pretty dark place, honestly. And it didn't stop there either, because I remember having moments where I would look out of the window when we were in the hotel at different times and thinking like, why am I here? This is just so bad. Why? You know, if our family is really following, you know, God's plan for our life, why would I be put into something that I would hate so much? You know? And so that was kind of my memory of that experience.
Yeah.
Not to seem too dark or discouraging, but
well, you know, here's the interesting thing that, like what your mom put in here, is that you exercise significant maturity at times, but by making deliberate choices of keeping a positive attitude and knowing you were submitting to the Lord. Like, we didn't know that you were having that dark of emotions and feelings back then. Like, we didn't realize that until you wrote that paper at Macaulay, I think your senior or your junior year.
Yeah.
It was a great paper, but then it was like, oh my golly, like, I never knew you thought you were going down in a steel coffin in the airplane, you know, like how that was. So, you know, you kept a lot of that. You navigated that on your own a lot. But I know from a very early age, you professed your life to Christ. I remember you were like 4 years old, like sitting on the toilet, and you came to Christ. Or isn't that were you 4 or 6? Do you remember?
I don't remember giving my life to Christ the first time.
Oh, you came to us about like you just had to receive Jesus because you just did not want the alternative, you know?
Yeah.
But
it's been a process ever since.
What's that?
It's been a process ever since.
It is a process, isn't it? Oh my! I'm going to show a couple of these pictures that just take us back. We didn't show this one. This is one of my favorites of all time, though. When you were on the you know, your wheelbarrow there at the let me get that comment off of there. You were wheelbarrowing at the GMC. That's the Gammersfelder Center. One of the biggest thing that was going on for us back in those days. I come off of that. Just there are some other good memories, though. I mean, like, I know those are dark times or challenging times, and here's the thing, you know, we were all going through those too. I mean, I know I sat there and go, what in the world are we doing? And I know Mom, same time, sometimes just going like, what is this that we're into? You know, not knowing at the time, but just trusting in the Lord that He had us in His hands. You know, a lot of these folks you're talking about, you're an amazing young man. You know, I don't know what this is. She's got 4. I don't know
When
what.
I gave my life to Christ, I think.
Oh, 4. It was 4. I'd say it was really early, dude. You were not messing around. You were not messing around. But you got some great other things, like stuff that we did do that were great experiences, like playing on the Jamaica national golf team, right? Like what
Yep.
tell us a little about those days.
Man, that that was actually a really, really good experience. Getting to play with those guys and girls, that team was um, just a really fun time for me. Honestly, I got to
Yeah.
make a lot of pretty good connections with some people, and um, got to experience some community that didn't always get to have growing up there. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, it challenged me and helped me later on in my golf career. So
Speaking of that golf career, because Terry Dennis was bringing it up, here's a picture of you in your senior year at Macaulay.
yeah,
One of the still pictures. This is the one picture I would say, and I don't know if my mom's watching, but that's when I looked at you and said, "Oh, we do a lot. We look a lot alike." You had a great golf, okay, so it was bad. You put in those challenging things, but man, look how, like, in your high school golf career, you really persevered. 2-time state golf competitor with Macaulay, right?
hmm
Really a great career. Almost people would say an overachiever. Like, people wouldn't have written you into that space. But I think it's that grit and determination that you developed over the years that might have helped you out. What do you think about that?
it definitely could be. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that. If I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I know that I am a very competitive and determined person at times. So it definitely could have impacted it and helped shape me to who I am today, having to deal with the stuff that I did, going through Jamaica and stuff. Uh, Also playing on the Jamaica junior national team, had to persevere a lot to get to that point. I remember
Right.
one night, I was even trying to make it on the team. Like, I was like this close to quitting, and you talked me into keeping going on, and I made it by like a shot or something. But
I remember that.
yeah, so definitely could have had an impact like that.
Yeah. Here's your mom. Consistent and diligent. Those are nice qualities. Yeah. Good looking too. Anyway, so some dark times. I would say dark. I think they were dark. I mean, you said it. So they were dark. They were challenging. What what happens to us is that we realize that we can't do Jamaica anymore for you and Max. Like, we got to a point where it was time for you guys to move on. You were at a point, like, it was going to be. I always tell people, and maybe you can kind of bring some clarity to this, is that I felt like we were at a point where you guys were going to resent us, or resent all of Jamaica for the rest of, for a long time, had you been forced to go back in that steel coffin again one more trip. Is that accurate? I mean, tell us where you were at there at that time.
At that time, I was really feeling like I needed to get some consistency in my life. I knew I wasn't at the place where I wanted to be when it came to my relationships with the people, my ability to create relationships with other people, my ability to keep relationships. I know I wanted to get better at doing schoolwork and just life applicable skills that I really hadn't developed too well. Just being in Jamaica with you guys, jumping back and forth. And so I really began to feel like I needed to just get away and get some consistency. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I have never held any negative experiences or anything like that in association with either you and mom or with Jamaica. The only thing that I have ever experienced with negative things and associating them with would be, why, Lord, would you have put me in this situation? Because I knew that you two were following his path for us. I knew that we were where we were supposed to be. So
Mhm.
I've never doubted that in my life. I know that to be a fact. It was more of what is the purpose, because I don't see it and it's really hard.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of the story on all of those.
Yeah, I mean, it gets into that side of, walking by faith and not by sight. I mean, we weren't necessarily seeing, and you guys, you kids particularly, weren't necessarily seeing what's the purpose or I mean, because we were building it from the ground up down there. We were laying the foundation for things that are happening now. And I, I honestly can't imagine being you. You know, I'm thinking about it right now. I mean, I try to be as candid as I can be on these shows because we're live, so we haven't talked about this to this level necessarily before. I mean, we've had talks and everything, but it does bring out some of the real like eye-opening stuff about how rough it really had to be. But I'm always that eternal optimist, so I'm always looking at the other side, and where's it going to take you, and where are you going to be, and I look at you now, and I see some of the comments of folks, that are people are throwing up about your maturity, and people tell me about it all the time, and your character, and how much of a good example you are, and you can't say that, and we have to say, well, it's definitely part of your upbringing, like that really challenging upbringing, but nonetheless, it is definitely part of who you are. How does it affect you now? Like, so here, let's talk about the third chapter, like you're in college, just so everybody knows, you finish like exceptional in all things in school at Macaulay. You really do great. I mean, you kill it on the golf game, you kill it academically. You're the first student ever from Macaulay School to go to Liberty. You made a choice that's kind of against the grain to go to a pretty Christian university. Not that other guys don't, but nobody's gone to Liberty before. It's where you want to go. You get the presidential scholarship. You get a full ride tuition. So I'm bragging right now because we're obviously really proud of you. But I'm just trying to build on all those challenging times. And now you put yourself out there to be an RA at Liberty. You got the position. So now you're a completely full ride amidst this COVID crisis, when people like me and your mom and others could be saying, "Oh my gosh, where are we going to come up with college money for kids? We got three of them, two of them in college, and you've secured your ticket, at Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say they're running full ride. You're actually making money over there now, I think.
Yeah, I am very, very blessed right now to be in the situation that I am in. Getting the scholarships that I have, and getting offered the positions that I have has been it's been a huge God thing, because I know that the maturity level I would need to be hired as like an RA or something, I wouldn't have had otherwise without Jamaica. So yeah, I want to say that while living in Jamaica was really difficult at times, there were some really tough moments. They have 100% shaped who I am today. They have 100% made me into the person that I am right now, and have given me opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. And have helped me to make decisions that I wouldn't have made otherwise. If it wasn't for Jamaica, I would never have come to Liberty University, I don't think. And it's proven to be probably the greatest decision I've made, and one of the greatest decisions I've made in my life. Just knowing the presence of the Lord that I wanted in my life during this time, this developmental time, for me, I wouldn't have had that priority in my life if it wasn't for the upbringing that I've had. And so in many ways, Jamaica has, benefited me greatly. And that's undeniable. So, yeah, I mean, in other ways, it looks for me now, like I still have to work through things that I have from Jamaica, some past stuff that I let, get get deep within me that I've had to work through.
Mm-hmm.
Like I should have told you that I was going through difficult stuff in Jamaica. I shouldn't have bottled it up. But I have, this thing where I have to, like, this innate feeling that I have to be perfect at all times. And so,
You get that from your mom, just so you know. Yeah.
Anyway, having to build up a wall and show that I'm like this perfect person, it is a struggle for me at times. And what I didn't know that I had that stuff back when I was 11 years old in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I allowed that to kind of bury deep inside of me. And so there have been times where I have shut down completely, and you guys have experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
Like last Thanksgiving when I realized that, not having anything consistent in my life, like, no holiday traditions or anything, no traditions that we always did, that I didn't realize that hurt as much as it did until last Thanksgiving when we just did something else, spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of, I wouldn't say ruined the Thanksgiving that we had, but it definitely kind of put a cloud over it a little bit, at least for me. So I've had to work through things, and I've had to get through some stuff that, I'd rather not have had to go through, and have to work through and cause pain and things. But looking at on the other side of that as well, having gone through those things now, I can also help counsel other people through it. And I've, as a small group leader here, over the past year and a half now, I've had the opportunity to kind of do that with some guys and help them grow in those areas. And so I would say that, it is hard, and, especially for other families that, are going through this now, that it is hard, and there are difficult times that will be a result of, of the decision to live in another country, live internationally. But at the same time, they're going to produce fruit. So,
yeah, it's a good way to put it. I mean, I think some of the challenges that you go through, I think other kids are having challenges that are maybe they're different but the same. That everybody's got their issues. And we certainly have some that are, with a little more magnified, just because of the nature of our service. But when Christ tells us to pick up our cross daily, to follow Him, He didn't say He's going to give us a light cross or a smooth, sanded down cross. He did just say pick up the cross. And so it's just good. It's good to hear your perspectives, Griffin. I think it's good for a lot of us to hear your perspectives as a young adult. You're not a kid anymore. You're growing in your career and in your future. And I think it's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, so Jamaica is not, like you say, it's a part of who you are. You can't get it out of you. And you're still a part of it. Like, you've been on 4 surgical trips since high school. Like, 3? Like, you've been on 2 of Dr. Stahl's, 1 of Dr. Davis. So tell me what you've been doing, because you've come down surgically.
Yeah. Can you ask me again what the question is? I'm sorry.
Well, I think you've been on 2 times. You've come on surgery trips with Dr. Stahl. Am I right? Like, you were loading blocks for him. I'm just saying, you're coming. Like, we stopped building buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a part of the surgical process.
Yeah. Because
I know we got a video clip of you, like, when you get to see kind of the fruit of your labor, when a blind lady gets to see, you know, like, I'm gonna flip that one up there, just because it's a video that really went pretty live. This is a video where Griffin comes down volunteering, and he's low, well, tell everybody, what are you looking to do with yourself? What field are you going into? What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with our medical background, that's all kind of I've only ever been surrounded by kind of medicine and, mm-hmm. medical field. And I'm really, really interested in that kind of stuff. Nothing else in school has ever really spoken to me in the way that the sciences have. And so I really want to be a surgeon of some type in the future. So that's the current path. I'm on my way right now. Got just a few more years to go, but I'm enjoying it right now. I don't know exactly what I want to do with that yet. If that is, be an eye surgeon and continue kind of the stuff that's going on in Jamaica, I'm open to that. If God calls me to it, if it's something else, then I'll go there. But I mean, missions is still definitely in my blood, and I'm very interested in it to this day.
So Kara Fry has got down on the message down there. So what are you studying at Liberty? What are you doing now?
I am a pre-med major.
Pre-med. Nice. Aretha Farias, she's saying you're studious as always there. That's you, Griffin. Check this one out, though. I'm doing this one kind of both for the people out there that watch Mission to Sight and Professional Eye Care, but I do it particularly because you're standing right there. So this is one of those times where you're on this trip, and it's Dr. Davis. I know that. And you were helping to move patients from the surgery table to the block, like from the blocking area to the waiting area to the surgery. Isn't that what you were running around doing?
Yeah, I was shuttling patients in between the stations that they were going through.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty cool position because you get to be with a lot of people. But every now and then something like this happens. Let's watch this one.
Jesus. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Glory, 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 glory. Hallelujah. Praise your name, Lord. Praise your name. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Just stand it up so you can walk.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, Lord.
That was one of those moments where I don't remember her name. I should, but she was totally blind when she went into that room. So you navigated her in there blind.
Yeah, she did not know where anything was.
Yeah. So she comes out from underneath the surgery, and I know what happened is that she could see, and boom, she just went off on Jesus there, which just a cool moment, Trent, Trent. I don't know if you've seen that before, Trent, but it is absolutely unreal when you get to experience that. And Kara Fry, yes. Aretha, she wants you to put your glasses on. My younger version. You got them. Yes. Now we're really on the same page there. So you continue to be a part of this thing, even as miserable as it was at times. It's like you can't get it out of your blood, can you?
No, nope, I can't. I don't want to either. But yeah.
Nice. So let's think. Okay, we got about 15 minutes left on the show. We try not to go more than an hour. Yeah. Here we go. Wait, sorry. So Trent, thanks for the transition, Trent. He goes, let's get some serious business, Griff. Are you whipping your dad on the golf course now?
I'm trying to. He has this stupid ability to be able to be really good when he never practices. Yeah. So he usually beats me. It is unfortunate, and I am trying my hardest.
Good answer. Mm-hmm. I love it. Good transition there, Trent. Thank you. That was really helpful, bro. We do. There's just something. Here's a picture I love. I'm going to bring out. We're going to have some fun with some of this stuff now. Here, we've been having fun anyway. I mean,
absolutely.
Not that we're not having fun, but this one is one of my faves.
Yes.
Wow. When you were ready on the. This is at Innisbrook. We're down there. We won tickets to the Transitions golf outing, the PGA event. I won them in a raffle. Me, you, and Max go. I think you had a 7 on the hole before this, and you were like, I literally thought you were going to quit at that point. Am I not right?
Oh, you were very right. Yeah.
So,
I was going to quit. That was the last time I was ever going to play golf.
it was.
Yeah, because you kept bugging me about going on you with this trip, and I was like, I do not want to go play golf with you. That is dumb. I do not want to do that. And
Right.
if you make me go, I will never play golf again.
I think I remember that statement.
Yeah.
So
you can see what happened now.
You make a 7, and you are just dragging like the worst Griffin of all time. Just like, I'm just no good. And you step up on the 7th hole with a 7-iron from 107 yards.
Yeah.
And you hit the most perfect 7-iron probably you've ever hit in your life.
There was no reason for that to ever happen, but it did.
I'll never forget it. It took one hop, little bit of roll, center cut in the cup.
Yeah.
And I just think that I got to bring this up because this is part of the book story. I think the next hole was a par 5 and you made a 7 on it.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So you went 7-7-7.
I did.
7-1-7, but all the 7s, and we all know that 7 is like that biblical perfection number. I got to bring that into it. I'm not playing, or I'm not gambling, or I'm not doing some voodoo or anything. But I just can't help but always those 7. That's why I posted that thing, 7-iron on 7 from 107. And look what happened to you. Like that transformed your golfing life. Not that you're a life golfer, right? But
I would say that moment changed a lot of my future. Yes, I would agree with that.
Ron Kaiser wouldn't have been able to watch you shoot 35 and beat River Valley down with 11 putts. We wouldn't have been able to watch you play in those state tournaments and all the other times and all the other stuff. It's really great. I love it. Trent says I'm in your head. It's a dad secret.
Yeah, I know he is.
I really don't play head games though with you. I just keep playing
with my head. Yeah.
Mom says that was a pivot moment. She's always got to bring some good leadership and some good really points in there. But that was a pivot moment, really. You totally became a golfer from that point on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of good there from Ron too. Missing you guys. Yeah. So, So what's going to happen next, Griffin? You going to get out of school? What you going to do this summer? I mean, do you have any plans this summer?
Well, Corona kind of shut down the world, so I don't really have any plans right now. Unfortunately. Yeah. You're
going to come back to Chattanooga?
I don't have anywhere else to go, so yes, I do plan on going back home. And three-ish weeks, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, good. We'll play some golf probably.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. Hey, you're a heck of a surfer, right? I mean, you do a lot of surfing behind the boat?
Yeah, I look forward to that too.
Got those skills.
It's going to be a good time.
Exactly. I love it. Well, everybody tries to bring, hey, Dorothy says you can come see her,
All right.
Everybody's got, we're getting to the end here. Usually people bring a couple words or a couple thoughts about their part of the story because, I mean, literally we're writing your chapter tonight, is what we've done in the book. And God, I hope that's interesting. Remember, I was asking you to write the book. Like I was really hoping that you'd be the writer because you're actually such a good writer. But there was what I'd love you to share. A couple things I'll kind of lead you into them. Is the imagery of the stained glass. If you could share that with some people, that was from your paper. That was really kind of instrumental to me as your dad. I know that. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that one.
Yeah. So that paper that you keep referring to was, I forget what class I wrote it for, but it was my senior year. And in it, I talked about going down to Jamaica that time in the steel coffin thing,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just talked about, the negative things that had happened in my life and through Jamaica, and kind of how I was seeing it come to fruition during that year of me being in school. It was kind of cool to just kind of look back and see how everything is kind of fitting together for the plan and purpose that God has for me. And it honestly, there wasn't a whole lot that was I can really look back on now to see during that senior year, but it's definitely come way more now being here at Liberty. But kind of, I think the imagery that I used, and I wrote this paper like 2 years ago, so I barely remember the words I used, but kind of how it's kind of like how a stained, to me, how it looked like then was that it looked like a stained glass window, and that, it's a lot of tiny bits and shards that kind of, look like they should be thrown out if you just looked at it individually. But when placed all together, it kind of makes this portrait that is beautiful beyond belief at times. And so I kind of juxtaposed my life with a stained glass window, and then at times it seemed really hard and disgusting, and why would I have this, and I should throw it out, and why am I here, what am I doing? But in the end, it came together. It's, well, not the end yet, but it's coming together to be, a picture that is way more beautiful than I could have ever have made on my own. And it's only because of God and his plan for my life. So, yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. That's really strong. I love that. I think it's going to pause there for a second and let that one soak in. The pieces, all those pieces that you wonder, the little broken pieces, the little shards. But when you stick them all together, they really create a beautiful masterpiece. I think a lot of people would say that about you, Griffin. I don't think I've ever had so many comments on a show yet. You're really taking the top. You're going to make it tough for the rest of your siblings as they come on, because I don't know if Kyla's watching or Max or Abby, but everybody's coming on, because every child's a chapter, in a sense. And you guys have been just so pivotal. I mean, as your parents, I could say this about you to speak on your life, is that we couldn't have done it without you. We couldn't have done it in those times when maybe you were staying quiet and not telling us how you were really feeling. Maybe had you told us, it might have just torn our hearts up and we would have shifted direction, so the things that you did and your brothers and sisters that did, they're so part of that big puzzle, for all of us. So I want to thank you, brother. I mean, you're really a great son. Max is a great son too, if he's listening. I don't want to put any more on one than the other, but you've got an amazing story, and we're so excited about your future and that all that's going on with you. And I'm with you a lot. You and I have a little bit of accountability going on that I just treasure, to be in that with you, to help you, and you help me. So it's just good. You're a huge part of my chapter too, Griffin. So I just got to go there. Yeah. Dorothy says all the kids have special, all you guys are special. So, man. Well, Griffin, I gave you the lead in on the thing, right? On the paper and the stained glass. How about one word or two words, or give me a couple of words, like, because Mom comes up, like some people come on, they got like 3 words, and they got this pattern, and you don't have to have any words, but I wonder if there's any word or two that you could use. We used one, like Dorothy, she pulled out brutal, for some of those years. But how about a couple words? I'm telling you, I can't keep up with all the comments. They are all flowing in here, And, thanks for letting us hear your story, Griffin.
Yeah.
It's really important, and I think it's encouraging for people to hear too, especially in times like these, where we might be looking at this whole COVID thing and all the stuff that we're all going through, but those could be like little shards that are trying to put together a little better masterpiece for a lot of us too. Obviously, if there's people that have died and whatnot, they can't really throw that there, but give me a word or two, like when you think about your chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or two.
I would say that if I was just going to have a couple words for, what my past has been and what my present is, it was, I really like the word brutal that Grandma used there. That was good. Brutal but also fruitful.
Also fruitful, yeah.
That, that it started in a place of, kind of discontent and, not so great. And it was brutal at times. So I like the word brutal, but the brutal has turned into fruitful in my life. Yeah. Not that it isn't over yet or that it's not hard at times still, but yeah, I like those two. So I've seen some pretty awesome fruit in my life. So
yeah, those are good. When you think about like I used to wear that WWJD bracelet right when time you were born, and that's when it was really hot. A lot of people were wearing it, and I wore that all the way through Mom's pregnancy and even after you're born. And you think about when we talk about ourselves as Christians, we got to do what would Jesus do, and if you think about his life just coming off of Easter, what he did when he was here on earth was pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
To suffer and die for us like that. But look at the fruit that came from his suffering, that for all of us, all of the world, to have that opportunity for eternal life and all the grace that he throws on us. So it's interesting that you'd use those two words, that you've experienced those. But I love them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I love the brutal part so much. It'd be nice if you didn't have the brutal, but sometimes you can't have the fruit if you don't put in the work or the labor or the suffering,
Yeah.
Hey, so you made some nights tonight. Hey, Doug Bell, great to have you on tonight, Doug. We still need to have you on. Doug's one of my originals. He's got a chapter. Doug, you've got a chapter in the book, and he's a principal at I don't know, high school or somewhere up in Toledo, administrator, and he was going to give us some perspective on what's it like in COVID time when all the kids are out of school, from that side of it. And I tell you, it's all good. So Griffin, we've hit the hour mark.
Mm-hmm.
Couple minutes here left. I'm not going to cut this one short. I don't want to waste even 2 minutes of your time on it, but really appreciate you stepping up. I called you, just so everybody knows. I called you today like 3:30. I said, hey, guess what, Griff? It's time to be on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'll go on. So
yeah.
Really appreciate that part of you. You do have one of the best butter swings. You look at that.
Oh, that is just not. Why'd you have to show that one? It's improved so much since then.
I know, but I kind of like that swing. That was a good.
It's so bad.
Oh, let's flip out some of these Christian days. Oh, back on Christian.
Man, look at that.
Yeah. Can't forget these. That's back in the old retreat center when we were building basketball courts.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. They're everywhere. But let me close on one like this. This is what I love. This is my two guys next to me here. That was Thanksgiving this year, right? Is that Thanksgiving?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. We decided to change it up after that one that you were kind of talking about.
Yeah.
I think that is our new tradition, is to be in Nashville with Stacy, and that was really great. And I tell you, I love you guys, and thanks for being on the show tonight, Griff.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Keep working hard there at Liberty. I know it's a real brutal test for you now with all the online
classes.
But keep up the great work. We're all proud of you. She's even got somebody coming to us from India that's following us. So yes, yeah, so it's good. Hey, the way we do this is we do a little outro, is what Ken was taught me to call that thing, and we're going to send it out. But Griff, thanks again, buddy. This is a great chapter story.
Yeah.
You know we love you. And
Love you too.
see you soon. Outro.